Made in China pandemic. Was it intentional or accidental? What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, March the 22nd, 2020. And of course, the pandemic, the coronavirus continues to spread like wildfire. And, there's a lot of questions out there. And one is, why didn't China report this earlier? Why didn't they make it known that there was an issue? Because, again, obviously, if they had let it known out earlier, we might not be in this position today. So, again, the question is, was it intentional or was it accidental? Nobody really knows the answer for sure. But, of course, when you're dealing with in the communist regime, you never know. And that's one of the issues that we could be looking at here. This is almost some type of warfare if it's intentional. Again, I don't know, and I am not accusing. I don't have an idea. But certainly the thought has had to cross somebody's mind, including mine, that this could have easily been avoided, especially since China is now on the downslope of the disease, where it's escalating everywhere else. And of course, I was wrong when I thought it was nothing. I mean, I still don't know how serious it is from a health standpoint, but I do. Obviously, we can see it's spreading like wildfire. The more tests, the more cases. So again, we'll see the net result, but certainly it has created a financial calamity throughout the globe. Okay, it has basically shut down the world. For everything now, which is expediting and speeding up the recessionary, depressionary types of times we thought were coming slowly. Okay, so again, we'll see what it all brings out and how it all comes at the end. Okay, but for now, obviously, it's very ugly. We're in Illinois, we're in lockdown, and there's 3 states here or 4 states that are in total lockdown. Again, as I said last Sunday, I think they should lock down everything. Okay, and just let it play and get it done. But again, we'll see. I mean, does this lead to potential martial law? There's a lot of bad things that can happen from where we are right now. And of course, obviously, the best thing that could happen is that we get it cured, we get it under control, and we get back to our normal lives, and everything goes back to normal. Again, is that going to be what's going to happen? I have no idea. Okay, one of the biggest things, I think, one of the biggest problems and issues that we have is that the media is totally not doing their job with this virus thing. Okay, again, the media is so political, and I don't care what side you're on. Okay, either side, but obviously the left has a much bigger voice and has much more control over the media, and they are pounding away and blaming President Trump for the virus worldwide. Now, it didn't start here. It had nothing to do with here. But again, I'm not defending anybody. I'm saying very simply that if we were all in it together and decided to try to fix it instead of blaming and keep creating this political issue, it might get solved a hell of a lot faster. So it's kind of scary that this is where we've got to in this country, okay, where we have to blame somebody for everything. And of course, because they don't like President Trump. And of course, I think the world would like to see him out of power because he has cut off, in my opinion, the free lunch, the free money, the stealing from all the people that are inside these major governments. Okay. So again, you can look at it any way you want, but logically, okay, why would everybody want him out? Okay. I would think it'd be because he's doing the right thing as far as cutting off the free pay, cutting off the trade, all the things that he's done is taken some free cash out of somebody's pocket that they were on the company payroll before. But we'll see. Again, I don't have the answers. I don't know. We'll see. And of course, obviously, the markets had their worst week since 2008, and it's pretty ugly. Okay, I mean, but again, we're not surprised at the ugliness of the markets. Okay, but certainly. We expect at the beginning, you never expect the acceleration as quite as fast. But again, there's things going on. And of course, that human nature is to panic. Okay. So we'll see, and we'll talk more about markets when we get to our section on the markets. Okay. But of course, obviously, There's some very big issues out there, and as we talked about, potentially martial law, and of course the DOJ, it seems to find the ability or whatever to detain without cause. Okay, so there's a lot of things that are going to happen here that are not what we're used to as Americans. Okay, so I think there's things to watch out for, but again, in my opinion, I wish they would just shut everything down, and I think that would be the best thing, because at the end of the day, I think that's the only way to really stop it, because people, even in Italy, where the worst of it is right now, are going out with the disease. Okay, so they're still spreading it, even though they're supposed to not be, doing things. So again, this is a problem with self-control and being able to say, you know what, let me just stay inside and let's get it cured and move on. Okay, so with 86 million Americans on lockdown, obviously commerce is slowed to nothing. Okay, there is, obviously all that's open in many places now are necessities, pharmacies, grocery stores, okay, obviously hospitals. And of course, I saw an interesting read yesterday on the math of the hospitals. Okay, and of course, if we don't get something done here quickly, there could be a problem. And of course, there's already been talk about cruise ships and other things that come to ports to act as temporary hospitals. So, but again, if it wasn't so damn political, okay, and more from the left side, this is more of a left issue. If it wasn't so dang political, I mean, why is not Biden out there trying to help instead of blaming? Okay, again, this is the old blame game here versus what's really going on. Okay, in the meantime, toilet paper sales soaring, shelves are empty. Pot and condoms are blowing off the shelves, right? So we're seeing a lot of alcohol, pot, condoms, toilet paper. Okay, the necessities in life to get through a lockdown. Again, look, and of course gun sales, which is obviously very scary because again, in times like these, there is a lot of fear, but there's also many out there, okay, that will try to take advantage of these situations. We've already got the phony testers running around, grabbing money from the unsuspecting innocent, okay, with phony tests. This is where the ugly side of people come out, is in situations like this. You get some that are the heroes that are up there and fighting for it to protect it, and you've got the others, the scum of the earth that is out there trying to leech off of the innocent people that are afraid to death. And of course, you got a cure for it. You got this. We'll pay anything. And of course, this is not news. This happens, regularly over time. Okay, anytime there's a problem or a tragedy, somebody there is trying to profit from it. Okay, so I think that again, the issues are simple. That again, be careful, be healthy. And we have to, again, the only way we can get through this, I believe, is to be diligent and to stay, use the social distancing, use what needs to be done, because otherwise, again, it continues to spread and spread and spread. It's like when you had kids and they're in school and somebody's always sick and they're just spreading that cold around, round and round and round. So, but it does, obviously, the economy has been brutally attacked because of this. Of course, Amazon is probably doing very well. Again, you're not going out, so if you're shopping, you're doing so online. But again, we saw this coming. Again, this was before Corona. Okay, the slowdown in the shipping, slowdown in manufacturing. So when we said 6 or 7 months ago that we were in the very early stages of a recession, this is what you got. Now, again, I believe you're seeing it accelerate. But again, there's always an event. As we've talked about for months, okay, as the markets continue to climb on weaker volume, on weaker things, we said that there was going to be an event. Now, obviously, I never in my dreams had managed it would be a pandemic, okay, but there was going to be an event that would create a much more unstable environment, and I think that's what you see here. And again, it's going to take a while to rebuild. You've got money being shelved out everywhere, okay. You've got money being pushed, to all the people, to whatever, and everybody's in line waiting for it. Okay. So what you have now is you have the Fed, which choked, okay, 5 times in the last 2 weeks they've made adjustments, okay, which to me is a total choke, okay. Again, it's a total choke job. The central banks around the globe have all panicked, okay. And of course, this is kind of like, if you read the Critique from Jekyll Island, this is like the overall plan to eliminate everybody and to let the money be circulated to the very wealthy, okay. This is free money, free money, free money, and continue to make it less and less. And of course, as you watch them operate, you can see the panic in their eyes versus holding firm and letting the natural course of true and free markets take place. This is always an issue that I have trouble dealing with, is why is it that we have to bail out when we can let the true and free markets take place? Okay. Everybody wants to talk about how bad everything is, and we talk about the stock buybacks. Why didn't these companies keep more of a reserve of capital when times are good? Again, this is a repeat, right? Again, Winston Churchill, those who fail to study history are doomed to repeat it. So again, I think that we talk about it all the time, is that history repeats itself. It doesn't come in the same, this is not Lehman Brothers, but this is another calamity that, again, when you're into a place where everything is already over leveraged to begin with, okay, the problems become much deeper and much faster. Unfortunately, the Federal Reserve continues to bail out everybody versus letting the system take care of it. The system will clean itself out if you would let it happen, okay? But of course, these institutions get so, the too big to fail, they have to have them. But again, in my eyes, okay, if you let the free markets handle, the free markets will always determine value. So again, I think that this has been brutally handled the entire way through from a financial standpoint. Again, I think that they should have saved their bullets, and we should let it play out. Again, you can give all the free money you want right now. Right now, there's not a heck of a lot of needs. There's nobody doing anything right now. So again, we'll see. I don't know. I don't have the answers. Okay, but I do know that the free market system works. And I don't know what this is going to mean for the markets tonight, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes, but we'll see what it all looks like. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line, and it is Sunday, March 22nd. And of course, we're going to step out here for a break, and we'll be back with more of Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, kids, yesterday we did a great hedging webinar. Again, obviously, those of you who have been hedged throughout this horrible tragedy, it's been one hell of a ride, right? It's been nice to be protected and being able to stay in the markets. Of course, if you want to get a copy of that webinar, just email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. Certainly, I'd be happy to send it to you. And of course, don't forget about our brokerage partners, CTG Group, okay, in Chicago. They are handling all of our letter of direction trading, and of course, for our futures portfolios, which once again made new highs again this week. So again, and I know there's a drawdown coming. Listen, we're not kidding anybody. We know that we can't keep going parabolic straight up, but in the meantime, why not check it out? And also, don't forget about our equity trading partner, which is Tradier. Okay, you truly get free trading, $10 a month flat, no commissions. You want that link? Just email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. I'll send you all the stuff you need. In the meantime, we're going to get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, March the 22nd, and of course, as we talked about in the segment one, it's just been a tragedy. I mean, again, obviously, always sad loss of life. The major things that are going on are terrible. And of course, it's had some dramatic effect on the market. And as we said, what we always say is that the markets look for a reason. You get these big sell-offs from a reason that causes fear. And of course, last week was the worst week since, 2008. Okay, this is almost a depressionary month. We're seeing, extremely beat down prices. I mean, the airlines are getting creamed and clobbered. And again, that's obviously an issue. Again, a lot of this weighs back to over leverage in their systems. Again, I think I personally believe that the fiscal responsibility by these companies has not been taken to proper course. Okay, I think that many of the companies, again, they continue to buy back their stock with every dime they had, knowing that they'd be bailed out at some point. And I think this is one of the problems I think there has to be a little bit more fiscal responsibility. I think that the banks are once again over leveraged. As I said all along, okay, this is not new. And I still say that no matter what they tell me, I don't think that any of them could pass a real stress test. I'd like to see them all audited. Of course, that goes with the Fed as well. So in the meantime, we know the money's flying everywhere. The helicopter cash is everywhere. And really what they're doing is just devaluing what we have. But in the meantime, here we are. So the markets got cremated last week. It was just, one after another. There were some big sharp rallies, but the speed of the markets is so fast. And right now you've got sellers. And again, I'm wondering how we're going to react tonight when they open. My guess is we're going to open down limit tonight. Okay. Now, whether we come off limit right away or whether it comes, again, that'd be my guess. I don't really have a solid feel for tonight. I'm short. Okay. That I do know. But I'm not sure what the overall net reaction is going to be, right? There's a lot of panic. And of course, you get that pent up fear over a weekend, but Friday we had, a weak close. And so, what is it? It's hard to grasp what the street is actually feeling right now, where it's going to go from here. But again, my guess is we're going to be lower. Okay. Now, again, I'm not trying to create fear. I don't want any panic. Okay. My guess is we're going to be down. Now, where we go from there, I'm not sure. Again, it's hard to have a solid read, and certainly I don't make predictions. I know that we're short. I know the algorithms are short, and that's where we'll be. We're short across the board. Okay. Now, again, when you start to look at some of the other products, if you look back at last week, platinum and silver got creamed again. Okay. Gold was, fairly reasonably strong, but not great, right? Now, gold had a little bit of a push up at the end of the day on Friday. Again, is this the time that gold explodes to the upside? We're short gold. Okay. And I don't know. Again, you really don't know what the initial reaction is going to be, as the news is compiled and over the weekend, because again, this is an emotional balanced trade now. This is where you're going to see possibly a lot of fear and a lot of panic. Okay. So, again, I don't have the answer and seriously, I don't have a gut feel. I just think they'll probably be lower. Not gold. I don't know. Will it be higher? Will it explode higher? Or will be people selling to raise cash? Again, there's a lot of schools of thought here. In the meantime, we're short all three across the board. Bonds continue to explode. I mean, again, the bond markets have been absolutely nuts, right? 5 points in a day, 10 points in a day, 7 points in a day. I mean, it's incredible at the speed at which the bonds are moving. And of course, based on interest rates, the bonds keep telling you that interest rates are going lower. Remember, the bond market is the one market that can take on the Federal Reserve. Okay. Fixed income is the biggest market in the world. So, again, it's hard. We're short bonds. It certainly didn't feel very good late Friday afternoon, but we'll see what today brings or tonight brings and tomorrow. And we'll have a better read for where, because again, one of the things we do know about markets, did a lot of this get priced in at the close on Friday? See, that's the hard recognition right now, because, did people have a feeling there was going to be a lot of bad news? So they really clobbered, they ran the bonds, they ran gold, and they smashed the equities. So they priced that part in. Again, it's a tough read because of how fast the news flow is going right now. And it was a triple witching expiration. So it's a very tough read in general on many of the products that we have out here. In the meantime, the dollar is exploding, right? As we called months ago, the dollar was going to par. Well, it's now about 102, 103, and it looks like it wants to go higher. And of course, that is a safe haven asset class that people continue to flow into. Okay. So I think that, again, I don't see any reason that it would start going lower. Now, obviously, its parabolic shape up would indicate there'd be some selling. But again, a lot depends on the opening and how the fear settles in tonight. And again, that goes back to, did we price it in? Because I'm hearing both sides. I'm hearing some that are very calm, and I'm hearing a lot of panic. So I'm not sure how to read it right now. Again, other than I know what my positions are and I know where I think we're going to go. But again, I don't like to make predictions. And certainly this is one that is just too challenging overall, because, you're going to really see what the internal wherewithal of many are based on how we trade tonight. But, of course, many of the so-called experts, said, well, they were closing all their shorts last week and buying like crazy. That could be a reason to expect maybe some lower prices. Again, it's a much tougher read as these things happen over weekends and the acceleration. So we'll see what it happens from here. In the meantime, meats look to have turned. We kept looking for a reason for them to turn, and they now look like they have started to turn. Okay. In fact, we are now buyers of cattle. We are now buyers of feeder and fats. Okay. And hogs should be right around the corner. Okay. To be buyers. And I think that now you may see, okay, that the bottoms have been put in. Okay. So again, we're going to be long, and we'll see how they trade out. But again, I would expect, you get to a certain point, markets eventually find their levels again, wherever that happens to be, whenever that happens to be. So I think that looks pretty solid. And of course, the grains have turned as well. We are now long, grains pretty much across the board. Or we're not yet. We will be. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. We will be tonight, okay, or tomorrow morning, depending on how they trade. So that looks, fairly solid. And again, that's what we were looking for. We've talked about it a lot. We knew we were short where they're going down, but I knew there'd be some kind of a bounce, and it looks like they've kind of made the bottom. So as we saw it with equities, when we said maybe the tops are in, well, it looks like the agricultural stuff, maybe the bottoms are in. So again, I don't predict. I'm playing the algorithm, but I do know how to read the markets, and I do know how to put positions on. So I'm certainly not sure exactly where they'll go from here. But I think you can look forward this week is obviously the VIX is exploding. Now again, one of the things that's important to understand about how the VIX trades, it's holding up in these higher levels longer than usual. And so again, watch the VIX. That's something that'll give you a good trigger. Okay. But I would not recommend anybody go bottom fishing yet. Okay. Again, don't try to find the absolute bottom. Okay. Let the markets settle in, find a level. Okay. And as you see, if you start to see the VIX dropping, okay, and the market's still dropping, that'll tell you the market's probably getting ready to turn as we did in March of 2009. But we're not anywhere near that spot yet. Okay. Again, you're going to see, no matter what happens, you're going to see some rip your face off rallies that are going to scorch you, and they're going to look so powerful, you're going to wonder why you're not long. And of course, those are the ones we're selling. Remember, those rallies are blow-off rallies, just like those straight down sells. They always bounce. Again, they could always resume later in that direction, but they always come back first because of mean reversion, all reasons that are logical. And I think one thing you have to remember is don't panic. Okay, no matter what happens, don't panic. You're always better to take a deep breath and with a clear head figure out what you're trying to do versus going into an all-out panic. Panic never wins. Panic always loses. So it's better for you to be relaxed. Again, I know it doesn't feel good to lose money, but it's better to be relaxed and make a logical decision versus making that decision out of fear and trying to get something done. Because again, the action figures to be wild for a couple of days. Okay, I mean, it's been wild all last week. Did you notice the speed of the market? Did you notice the markets, how fast they moved? I mean, they were moving, in seconds. The Dow was moving 200 and 300 points in seconds, minutes, less than minutes, right? So again, don't put yourself in a position that you can't get out of. So if you're going to trade actively, you may want to consider using the micros, because again, you're looking at, if you're going to trade, for example, in the Dow future, you've got to have a minimum of 100-point stop. So on the big contract is $500. Okay, I don't know if that's enough, but a minimum has got to be 100. Okay, so at the end of the day, look, markets are markets. We've seen things like this before. You can say, we can hear, we've never seen it before. This is different. We've seen it before. You saw it in 08, you saw it in 01, you saw it in 87. Whatever it is, it will resolve out eventually. When, I don't know. But not only will the market resolve out, and the volatility will resolve out, but so will the speed of the market. So again, I urge you to be patient and look. And again, if you want to get out of stuff, great, but don't panic out. Okay, don't chase it down. Give it a chance to at least give you a bounce. Look, so if you missed by 2%, does it really matter? Okay, that's my point. Give it a chance to come. If you really went out, give it a chance to get back to you before you chase it out. Okay, don't let the fear and the media and everything get in your mind. Use the logic and watch the footprint and put yourself in the best position. Again, worst case, you lose a little bit more, but don't give it up and don't chase it down. Okay, don't panic. Okay. In the meantime, we're going to step out here for a break. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Orich will be back with my commentary after the break. So, well, yesterday again, I said I did a great webinar yesterday on hedging. And of course, obviously, I wish all of you were hedged now, obviously, with what's been going on. But it's never too late because, again, markets are cycles. They run and run, and they go up and they go down. And we'll make new highs again someday. And again, we'll make the lows again someday. We'll have this kind of action. So it's always better just to be hedged altogether. So if you want to check out the webinar, just email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. I'll send you a copy. It's free. Okay. And of course, don't forget about our trading partners for futures. It's CTG. Okay. And they've got a nice new product out as well that's doing really well. But in the meantime, you want to get their information, you can do some letter direction trading using my portfolios or whatever. You can email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. And of course, if you want equities, of course, our partner there is Tradier. Okay. And of course, we like to use them, and they are true free commission. Okay. $10 a month flat, no extra charges, no 65 cents a contract. So again, we've got pretty good setups for you, and would love to put you in those places. So again, if you want to get those links, just email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. And now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me and my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, and of course, my commentary in this market under lockdown. We're under lockdown in Illinois, of course, and the biggest problem here is there's no sports. That's the worst, right? How many reruns can I watch? In the meantime, I want to say, and talked about a little bit of this earlier, I think the media and the politics here has been brutal. Okay, I think they've done a horrible job at covering the virus. I think that it's why are we being political when the country is in shambles? Okay, again, you can blame whoever you want for whatever you want, but again, I think the misreporting, which shows in more than 50% of the people in the world or in the United States do not trust the media to begin with. Okay, so again, I'm wondering why it is that we let them take such control, and what happened to fair and equal reporting and trying to get this thing solved versus playing the blame game. I don't get it. Okay, I don't get the business media with their buy here. It's you keep looking for a bottom. Again, this is a time to regroup, to take a deep breath. Okay, and to get every problem solved, which would take the help of everybody. Okay, versus blaming and pushing and turning this into a political agenda. All right, because again, at the end of the day, China started this virus, whether it was intentional or not, we don't know. But this was brought to us because of China. Okay, had they done the right thing in the beginning, it'd be over already. So let's be better than that here and get it solved so that we can get it solved for the world, because it's going to have to come from here. Okay, and for our own people that are here, so that we can move forward and get back to business and get back to a prospering economy that we can start to rebuild once again. Out of these situations always comes better and better, because we have always rebuilt, and this time will not be different. Okay, it'll run its course and we will end up rebuilding. But again, we do need to do something about the mouths of the media, because again, it's criminal that we are worried more about the political scene than the health of the United States citizens. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. I thank you for always being here. Be healthy. Practice the policy, social distancing. It works. Okay. Be careful. Let's not get too nuts here. Let's just be hang out. Be by yourself. Be 6 feet away, whatever, and do what's right, so that we can get this thing done and move forward and talk about more joyous things going forward. In the meantime, have a great weekend, everybody. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. I got no predictions because I got no sports. We'll see you tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. Have a good day, everybody. We'll see you later.